Okay, so let me get back into this patron list. Okay, I'm going to open the columns tab, and we're going to take a look at what kinds of things are in there. First of all, you see that on the left we see possible columns. These are all the things we can add to a patron report, and there are lots of them. Some of these are really sensible things to add to your patron report. Some of these may seem a little odd to add to a patron report, but nonetheless, the choice is there. Over here on the right, we have selected columns. These are the columns of information that are already preloaded into this particular report. So since this is a patron list, Atrium has decided that they will automatically include the patron's barcode, the patron's name, their circulation class, the patron link identifier, and a patron alert. We can keep that as it appears if we want to, or because this is like a pizza, we can choose whatever we want. Okay, I'm imagining a scenario where I want all the patrons in my school on one report. I need to kind of look at everybody's information all at once. So, back on that previous screen, I didn't select a certain group of patron circulation classes. I also did not select a particular patron report class because I didn't want to limit my search. I wanted to keep it open to all the patrons. Now, on this patron list, I want the patron's name for sure. I want their barcode also. That's a handy piece of information. But on this particular patron report, I don't really need to know what their circulation class is. I'm more interested in simply getting a printout of all of my patrons and a few pieces of vital information. So I'm going to remove this from my report, and I do that by highlighting it and selecting this back arrow here, which will move it from the selected columns over to the possible columns. So there it goes. Patron link identifier, same thing. I don't need this on this particular report, so I'm going to move it back over to possible columns. And I'm not interested in any alerts for this report, so I will remove it as well. So I'm left with patron barcodes and patron names. I would like to add some information to this report. I want to add students' email addresses. I would like to have that printed out all in one place so I could refer to that easily. So I'm going to come over here to my possible columns, and they are in alphabetical order as well. So I'm going to search for email address. There it is. And now, since I'm adding it to the selected columns, I need to hit the forward button, and now it's part of my report. Now, when you read your report, if you're like me, there's typically the most important information, some secondary information, and then whatever comes after that. If you like to see your most important information first, or whatever you might have been specifically looking for, you can arrange these columns to appear from left to right on your paper in a particular order. Let's say, for instance, on this report, I really want the patron's name to be listed first. That's the first thing I want to see. And then I want to see their email address because that's a pretty important piece of information for me. And I'm going to leave their barcode third. That's going to appear right on the right edge of my paper. I'd like to have it in this report, but it doesn't need to be the first or second thing that gets my attention. All I did to rearrange these was highlight them and use these up arrows, or you might need to use the down arrows to get them in the correct order. And once you have them, you have now selected the appropriate content for your report.